Alright, so the next part is to go ahead and get the start button ready. So we're going to do a few things here. First of all, when I ran my game, I noticed that my Gunsmoke was a little bit too low on the stage, and I'm going to lift it up a little bit. So I'm going to select it. I just unlocked my layer here on from scene 1. I'm going to use the selection tool here, which is on the top right corner. And I'm going to just move it up either by dragging it up, or in my case I'm going to nudge it up. So I'm going to press the up arrow key on the keyboard, move it up a little bit, so that way when I press enter it's centered a bit better. So I like that a lot more. The other thing is that I'm going to lock this back so I don't mess around with that by accident. I'm going to go to my library, and there's a lot of different ways we can make this, but we want that start button to fade in and out. What I mean is, in the original game, if I remember anyways, the start button would flash on and off so that you know, oh, you have to press start on your joystick. So I'm going to go to the library here. I'm going to double click on MC background. This is going to take us inside the movie clip itself. Right now we're on the stage. As you see here, it says scene 1. I'm going to go inside of MC background, and you're going to watch when I double click here. We have the graphic. You can see it has this kind of gray polka dot weird line going around it. It says MC background. I'm no longer inside the stage. I'm inside the actual movie clip. I'm going to do a couple of things here. One, I'm going to use spacebar and click and drag my mouse to go up a little bit so I can line myself up here. Oh, and by the way, something to notice. Right here, you'll notice there's a little crosshair. That was the registration point we created earlier. That's where it is. So anytime I move it, it's going to move it based on this location. So be careful not to move this image, because we're working with it based on the fact that it's in this corner here. And if I move this, if I physically move it, the relation between the crosshair and the actual image is going to change, and it's going to ruin the game. You'll have everything going in the wrong place. I'm going to press Control Z to put it back. So don't mess with that. In fact, let's lock that layer just to play it safe. That would be smart. And we're going to also double click it and name it background so I know what I'm working with. We'll stay nice and organized. You'll notice also that it's not transparent. That's because we made the movie clip on the stage transparent. That the child, basically, the instance, we made that transparent. This is the original image, which is this thing here. It's linking to this right here. And that's what we're seeing here. And so that's why it's not transparent. Alright, so let's create that start button. I'm going to create a new layer down below. I'm going to call it Start. And I'm going to go over here to my library and drag over Press Start. So drag it right over and drop it here. Now when I took a screenshot of this in this Press Start button, the problem was that it was a little bit small, and I'm going to increase the size. We're working with a bigger size here, so if you're really finicky about it and you want it to match perfectly, I'll show you how to do that in just a second. What we're going to do is we're going to convert this to a movie clip. So right now we have a movie clip inside of another movie clip. So I'm going to right click this. Oh, excuse me, we're going to have a movie clip inside a movie clip. Right now it's just a PNG image. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to convert that to a symbol. Here I'm going to give it a name, push, we'll say MC, push start, so we're consistent. And type is going to be movie clip, and registration again is going to be top left corner, just to be consistent. I'm going to click OK, and now you see it has that blue line around it. That means it is now a movie clip. This movie clip, if I go inside of this movie clip right now, if I double click it, you don't need to, but just so you know, if I double click it, I go inside of the movie clip. And see, I'm inside background MC, and inside background MC there's another movie clip called MC push start. So I'm going to go back here to my background here. So we want this thing to flash. I want it to turn on and off. And the other thing I want to do is make it slightly larger. You don't have to, but I'm gonna. So how do we do that? Well, we could do it. We could alter this from Photoshop and have it update. That's one way. But a far easier way is to just go inside of the movie clip. Just double click it. And from here, I'm going to use the third tool on the list, which is the transform tool. and I'm going to increase the size. Now keep in mind, when I do this method, as soon as I make it larger here, as soon as I do that, the problem is it's going to get a little bit blurry because of the method it uses to increase the size. So I'm going to undo that and show you a better way. I'm actually going to press Control B on my keyboard, or you can go to Modify and Break Apart. They'll do the same thing. And what that does is it is now just a set of kind of pixels on here. It is not checking in, it's not referring to this press start button anymore. So these are just images. I can actually go in here and select part of it and delete it even, and you can see I can modify it. It's kind of cool. So that's what I just did. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to go back because I want it to stay with that little crosshair, and I don't want to mess with it. So I'm going to go to my move tool. Why did I do all this? Because now if I resize it, it will stay nice and sharp. I'm holding Shift and Alt as I drag my mouse out. Shift will make sure that it stays in the right proportions so you don't get something like this, where it gets squeezed together. And Alt makes sure that when I expand it, it expands out from the center. So you don't have to do that. You can just hold Shift and move it, and then move the image to where you want it. But these are things, little things that can help you out. Just leave the crosshair alone. I know it moved, but it won't affect anything, so don't worry too much about that. And we're set. So I'm going to go back to MC background, and so the font here matches better with that. It's almost the same size. So I'm going to stop part 4 here and resume the rest with part 5 on how we can make this flash.